welcome to No Broken Legs. I am your host, Evan Belfiore. Joining me to talk some actual football is Jimmy Champ. Jimmy, how are you?
Man, I'm excited to get into these player props. All these LA Rams that are about to go off in this football game.
We have a podcast we just released earlier about the Cavs and looking at the NFL head coaching news. We were going to do all this as one podcast, but it has been split into two. So here we are. It's Super Bowl week. There's all sorts of gambling going to be done on this game. People are buying squares. Jimmy, you've been on the Rams all year. I'm sure you're pumped about this game. I'm still kind of in shock that the Cincinnati Bengals are in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm shocked, but I'm happy about it. I think the Rams are getting a little disrespected with this line only being 4.5 the last time I looked. So I'll be hammering the Rams. I'm actually going to hammer the under as well. I think the Bengals streak of getting to the 32-yard line and making 50-yard field goals is going to be coming to an end in this game. And I think Sean McVay, I think he learned from his last Super Bowl. I think the Bengals will probably try to run the same defense they did against Kansas City late in the second half, dropping a bunch of people back in coverage, which is probably why I'll be betting a substantial amount of money on Cam Akers for Super Bowl MVP, because I think the Rams will run the ball. Matt Stafford will make a couple key throws. Joe Burrow will look like a guy who hasn't played well in the postseason really very much at all, and the Bengals are going to get boat raced by my LA Rams.
Wow, not even holding back a little bit.
No, sir.
The thing that I look at the most and keep coming back to when I try to figure out how this game's going to play out is, how is Cincinnati going to block that LA Rams defensive front?
They're not.
Because unless Matt Stafford completely implodes, I don't see how Cincinnati's going to be able to sustain drives. We've already seen all playoffs where they turn really nice drives, potential touchdowns, into 50-yard field goals, and it's usually because of sacks or holding calls. I don't know what their solution to that is. They haven't found one all year. Joe Burrow keeps getting hit. We haven't seen anything like this where a quarterback gets hit as much as he does, and they still win football games. I don't see how it happens in this game, but I don't know how they got past Derek Carr. I don't know how they got past Kansas City, because that's really just Patrick Mahomes imploded. They just seem to take advantage of little mistakes that their opponents make and just go on these runs where, I don't know, it seems with this team, momentum is a thing. Like it's an actual thing that they use to their advantage as a weapon.
Yeah, so I think this game is going to very much mimic the Tennessee Titans game. Unfortunately for the Cincinnati Bengals, Ryan Tannehill doesn't play quarterback for the LA Rams. I think while it worked out for them in the long run because Patrick Mahomes lost his damn mind, I think one of the worst takes I heard a head coach give in an interview was the way that first half ended. While, Mahomes made an actual mental error, Tyreek Hill couldn't shake somebody. And Zach Taylor said, well, I'm not worried about it because this is a second half team. You don't want to have to drop back and pass against this LA Rams pass rush. Like, the Bengals think they have a pass rush. They thought the Titans had a pass rush. No, sir. The pass rush is coming this week. This is a pass rush that is going to slow down. Like, there are a lot of people that have beat up Zach Taylor, beat up the Bengals. I'm one of them. And the reason is this. They get away from their offense super quick. We don't try to really use Joe Mixon. They did a little bit in the Chiefs game, but normally it's get rid of the run, let Joe Burrow do Joe Burrow things. But Joe Burrow hasn't been spectacular in the playoffs. Statistically, he hasn't been great. He's been okay. He threw the game away against Kansas City and then tried to do it on the next drive too, but guy's foot was out of bounds, dropped the ball. Like, Joe Burrow hasn't been great. He's going to have to be great to beat this Rams defense, and I don't think he'll be able to do that. I think they're going to actually take a page out of the old Patriots playbook. I think you're actually going to see Jalen Ramsey go head-to-head with T. Higgins, and then I think they'll put a safety over top of Jamar Chase with their other with their other cornerback and say, find somebody else to beat us. We don't think you can. They're not going to be able to get open before we get home and get your shit offensive line. I think that's what's going to happen. And like I said, I think this game is going to look exactly like the Titans game, except Sean McVay is not going to stop giving the ball to the guy that's running 5 yards a clip like the Titans did with Donta Foreman. And I don't think Matt Stafford is going to make the mistakes that Ryan Tannehill made. I mean, Matt Stafford's been playing pretty much mistake-free football for the last month and a half. Joe Burrow can't say that.
He tried to throw away the playoff game there.
What? I don't remember that.
I remember that.
You sure? You sure that happened?
Yeah, because him and Jimmy Garoppolo went back and forth trying to throw that game away.
You sure? No, it was just Jimmy G throwing picks, bud. Nothing else happening there.
I mean, it wasn't an interception, but he threw it right to the 49ers defender.
Yeah, well, he knew he was going to drop it. It was on my game, bro. So, no, I agree with you. That was a horrific passes. We ripped him apart for it. But yeah, I don't think the Bengals have a chance. I don't understand the bettors betting on the Bengals. I don't understand people betting on the overs for the Bengals players. I think this is going to be like the last time the Bengals were in the Super Bowl. They looked completely outclassed. I think they're going to look completely outclassed in this game as well. Now, I do think this will be a learning tool for them. I think they'll grow from this game. I think they'll know what they have to go out and get. But like I said, I think it's going to be a long ass day for Joe Burrow is what I think. And I think he'll throw a mistake. And the thing about that Rams defensive front, they don't normally just get sacks. They tend to get turnovers as well. I think really the only chance the Bengals have is if they can get lucky that 4 pretty smart quarterbacks in a row all make stupid mistakes against their team. I think that's the only chance they have. I don't think Matt Stafford is going to do that because I think Matt Stafford realizes what's at stake for his career trajectory in this game, and he's going to make sure they come out of there with the win.
I like the over. I like the Rams to cover. I don't know what's going on with Cincinnati, but that magic that they seem to have to get through these games, I've picked against them throughout the playoffs, just like I picked against Tampa Bay last year, but they seem to do just enough to win their games. I think that run comes to an end here. That defense has been pretty good, and if they can get pressure on Matt Stafford, they can get him to make mistakes. But your point of putting more in the hands of Cam Akers, because you can run against this Cincinnati defense a little bit, I think they can really do some damage with the short passing game, sustain drives, and just let that defensive front go to town.
Yeah,
you said you liked Cam Akers for MVP. He is plus 3,000.
I know.
That is... but that's very feasible. You could see something where he gets 40, 50 yards rushing and then maybe another 50, 60 receiving with 2 or 3 touchdowns. That's not out of the question. I like Aaron Donald at plus 1,600.
I think it's a great bet because if this is an ugly game that the Rams come out on top, we're pretty sure Aaron Donald is going to make a statement against this trash offensive line, and people will be very happy to give that vote to Aaron Donald.
Yeah, and I might even throw like $10 or $20 at Von Miller at plus 4,000 just as maybe Cincinnati just says, you know what, fuck it, we're not letting Aaron Donald do it. Well, if you're going to block him a bunch, then Von Miller will probably go off.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, let's look at anytime touchdown scores, Jimmy. You already talked about Cam Akers. He's minus 120 to score a touchdown. Who else do you like to get into the end zone?
Super freaking Cup.
He's minus 190, which isn't very good odds, but he seems to just get into the end zone every game. It just never seems to fail.
Yeah, White Rice is going to score a touchdown, and I mean, at this point, would we be surprised at all if Odell catches a touchdown?
No, I actually like him to score a touchdown at plus 125 because I think Cincinnati is going to throw a lot of defenders at Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
I also like Kendall Blanton at plus 240. I do like Tyler Boyd in this game, and we'll get to the receiving props here in a little bit, but I think your point is well made. I think they're going to double team Jamar Chase and put Jalen Ramsey on T. Higgins, and that's going to put a lot of pressure, especially with their tight end, Usumo. shit, I forget his name.
Uzama.
He's probably not going to play in this game. They've got lines for him if you want to bet him, but I don't think he's going to be playing in this game. The defensive touchdowns. Cincinnati plus 500. The Rams are plus 470. Both of those are pretty juicy, especially with these quarterbacks. They've been known to maybe get a little twitchy back there. Both of these defenses are opportunistic and could get in the end zone.
Oh, yeah, definitely bet the Rams defense. You can miss me with the Bengals defense, but, yeah, definitely bet the Rams defense.
Moving on to the passing yards, we have Joe Burrow's over-under sits at 276.5. Do you like that over-under?
I'm taking the under.
I'm going to take the over. I think the Rams are going... I think this is going to play out a lot like the Kansas City game. I think the Rams are going to get out to an early lead. Cincinnati's going to try to come back. I don't think they're going to be successful. But I think this game's going to look a lot like that. Did I mention I like the over?
Yes, you did.
I like the over. I think 48.5 is too low. I think both of these teams are going to get into the upper 20s. And that's why I like Joe Burrow over 276.5. And I like Matt Stafford over 281.5.
Oh, yeah, I'll definitely hammer Stafford's.
Joe Mixon's over-under for rushing yards sits at 63.5. Cam Akers sits at 66.5.
Give me Akers over all day.
And Cooper Kupp, 106.5 yards. Does White Rice get over or under that, Jimmy?
Oh, he's going over.
And Odell sits at 63.5. I actually like Odell at 63.5 because, again, I think they're going to double Kupp, and Odell's going to have... I think he's going to have some room to operate in the short passing game.
Yeah, I agree. I like that as well.
How many touchdowns do you think these quarterbacks throw?
I like Stafford to throw 3, Burrow to throw none.
Wow. The over-under for Burrow is 1.5. That's unders plus 122. And Stafford over is plus 148. I like the over for both of these guys. Like I said, I think we're going to get points, and I think a lot of these are going to hit. A fun bet that is always talked about every year. Does a safety happen during the game? Yes, plus 750. No, minus 1,200. It is such a fun bet.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
And it's a possibility with that pass rush that the Rams have that this could hit. So it's maybe worth a flyer if you're way up on the season. It might be worth throwing some of those winnings on a lotto ticket.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is one of those oddities. The defensive or special teams touchdown is plus 260, yes, minus 370, no. I think you're better off betting the straight defensive touchdowns than touching that line.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Here's a bet that I think hits for both teams while I'm looking for the sacks number. Rams to successfully convert a fourth down, yes, minus 134, and the Bengals, yes, minus 142. I think we're going to see teams going for fourth downs in this game. That revolution is on, and we're going to hear a lot of people complain about it.
Yeah, those people are dumb.
Okay, I can't find the sack number for over-under. Where would you set that line at, Jimmy?
For the game or per each team?
For the game and for each team.
So I think you're gonna have somewhere around 10 sacks. So I'd probably set it at 9.5 for the game. I'd probably set it at 5.5 for the Rams and 4.5 for the Bengals because Matt Stafford will hold on to the ball and take some sacks, and that Rams pass rush is coming. They're gonna dominate that line of scrimmage and win this football game.
I like the overs on all of those. I think we get to 11 or 12 sacks. I think the Rams probably get to 7, and I think the Bengals are easily going to get to 4. I like them. I just like that front. They seem to be able to get pressure when they need to, especially in the second half. And it's that you saw it rattle Patrick Mahomes And I don't. They're not. Sean McVay is going to run the ball better than Andy Reid is.
Yes.
He might not be better with his time management and with his timeout usage, but he will remember to run the ball. And I think that's going to help them out a lot in this. Another thing we mentioned, this is technically a home game for the LA Rams, although they haven't played many home games at home.
Yeah, I don't know.
How do you think that affects this game? Do you think this is going to affect the game?
I don't know if in the short term, like this year, if it affects the game. I do think you will probably have a lot of people. Well, I don't know, because I know what like the median salary is in Cincinnati, and I don't know how many of those people can afford the Super Bowl tickets. Like, those things are ridiculous.
It's obnoxious.
So it may be an LA crowd by default if they're the only people that can afford the tickets to the game. Like, that wouldn't actually surprise me. I think there'll be a big celebrity crowd. You'll have a lot of members of the Front Runner Express in their LA Rams gear showing up, and then you'll probably have the Old Faithful as well. But I think in the long term, it's an issue that technically now you've had 2 Super Bowls in a row where a team has had a home field advantage when the Super Bowl is supposed to be played on a neutral site. So I do think in the long term, the NFL is going to have to address this issue, because it shouldn't be a thing. Like, it should be a neutral site. You shouldn't be that familiar with the stadium. You shouldn't be familiar with the field. You shouldn't have an opportunity for more of your fans to get to the game than the other team's fans. So it is something I think the NFL are going to have to look at. But we don't really know how many fans the Rams have. So who the hell knows?
I think a lot of people are just going to be there rooting for a good game. I don't think the city of LA has really embraced the Rams. Even though that team's good, they don't. I don't know. LA doesn't seem to really care about either of these football teams. Let's move on to some of the non-football props, because these are always fun and people will be talking about them at their Super Bowl parties and their Super Bowl get-togethers. The national anthem over-under is 95 seconds. Country star Mickey Guyton is singing this. I have no idea who this person is. Do you have any insight, Jimmy?
Oh, Mickey's going to sing.
Is he going to blow through it, or is he going to stretch it out a little?
Oh, you can take the over on this one, bud.
Okay.
It's going to be stretched out. that Free and Brave are going to go on for a while.
The coin toss is -103 for heads and tails. I just, if you want to bet this, go ahead, but you're just throwing your money away, in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah, and I mean, after the way the overtime games went, nobody knows what the hell you're supposed to call anymore. So
the Gatorade bath, it is a classic. Color, orange, none, blue, +200, +300, +400. This is another one that if you feel frisky with some winnings, go ahead and throw it at it, but this is mostly a stay away for me too.
Oh, I got to bet the blue.
You got to bet the blue? Okay.
I got to bet the blue.
There is a halftime show that we will definitely be watching. We don't always watch the halftime show because it's normally not artists we care about. But this is like a straight 90s rap fan. Jimmy, if you wanted to watch a halftime show, this is probably the lineup you would have put together.
Yes, exactly. Like, I'm ready for this. Like, this, I think they're going to blow this out of the park. I'm not really sure. I've been racking my brain for what exactly they're going to play. I mean, it kind of, like, with where he's been in life lately, it surprises me that they're going to give Snoop a live mic, because I don't know what the hell he's going to do. But I am excited for this. I think they're going to tear the roof down. There are going to be a lot of people who side with the owners of the Miami Dolphins that are going to think this is the worst halftime performance in history, but I think it's going to be pretty good.
Okay, so there are just some great props out here for this. Who will perform first? Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, Snoop, Dre, or Eminem?
Mary J. Blige.
Mary J. is sitting at +170. She's the favorite. Lamar is second at +255. I think that makes sense. I think either Snoop or Eminem is going to come in later in the show. Like, they're not going to lead the show, but they're going to come in at, they're going to be like a hammer halfway through the show to get the crowd hyped up again. Like that second wave.
It also, but I don't know though. It might not surprise me if Snoop does open it to kind of try to bring everybody together.
Okay, I could see that. In that case, you would like that plus 355.
Oh, I do. I do like that. Oh.
How many songs will be performed? The over-under sits at 7.5.
I think it's under that.
Yeah, I think everybody gets one song.
Yeah, I think it's under
and we
that.
may even see something where Dre does a song with multiple people because that's just, Dre works with everybody. So,
yeah.
This isn't who performs first. This is the first performing artist shown live at halftime. So they have multiple artists. So it would be, several of them together is plus 190. Snoop on his own is plus 300. Dre is plus 350. Eminem plus 400. Mary J plus 550. And Kendrick Lamar is plus 550 as well.
I like Snoop. I think Snoop will be the first one shown.
You think they lead? I like the multiple artists. I think Dre and Snoop are going to be together at the beginning. I think you've talked me into that, and I think I've decided that Eminem's going to come out about halfway through. Because somebody always comes out halfway through, and it's always somebody big.
Yeah.
Color of Eminem's hair when first shown. Brown black is minus 256. White blonde is plus 215. Any other color is plus 550.
Oh, it's blonde. It'll be blonde for this.
You like that plus 215? I feel like it will be blonde for this too, because they're gonna really try and tap into that nostalgia. That's what this halftime show is all about.
Yep.
What do you think will be the first song played during the halftime show? California Love is the favorite at plus 270.
That would be smart. That would actually be a really smart thing to do. Would be to have Snoop start the show, kind of talk about a little bit of nonsense, and then Dre comes out and they do. Oh, I like that. I think that sounds good. I like that.
Last song played during the halftime show, California Love is the favorite at plus 165.
I think
I kind of played a trick on you there because I love that it's the favorite for the first and last song. I do agree that it is probably going to be the first or the last song.
I don't think I would like. I think the last song will be like I think the last song might be like Nothing But a G thing, or maybe My Name Is, something like that. Like, I think the last song will be a banger.
Okay, well, the last song, Nothing But a G Thing, is plus 1100. Family Affairs plus 750. Lose Yourself plus 550. All the Stars plus 1300.
I like Nothing But a G Thing. I think they might make us wait till the very end to play that tune.
Yeah, that feels like if they rap with that, that's the big one. Like California Love and Nothing But a G Thing feel like the two biggest songs that they're going to play. Those are going to get the biggest pops. So I think those are the first and last songs played. And I also feel like they're going to play Drop It Like It's Hot. I can't stand that song, but that's going to be a song they play to sort of calm things down after the big initial rush. So that'll be like one of the first 3-ish songs played. At least in my opinion. I feel like that's how they do these things.
Yeah.
Last one, first Eminem song to be played. Lose Yourself plus 175. Slim Shady plus 225. My Name Is plus 375.
There's no odds on Stan?
Plus 900.
I think it'll be Stan.
You think they'd go with a song that dark at the Super Bowl?
It would. Yes. I do.
Okay. Man, that's a big number. Plus 900. Whew. I feel like they'll be under a lot of pressure from executives to do Lose Yourself.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong.
Because this is the Super Bowl. This isn't just football fans. This is, like the world. This is the NFL. The NFL isn't like they didn't just tell Dre and them, oh yeah, do whatever you want. Like they're not going to let him just do whatever they want.
Right. There's actually some calculations involved.
Yeah, and they're going to be paid very handsomely to do this as well. So,
yeah.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to come over and hang out and watch the game with you, man. We don't get to watch a whole lot of football games together, and this is the one every year we definitely get to watch together. It should be a lot of fun. We both like the Rams. Final thoughts on the Super Bowl heading into the big game.
Well, it's probably, I hate to talk about it now, but my boy Will Brinson from CBS Sports is talking about it, and it makes me want to talk about it. Matt Stafford plays well in this game and is part of the reason the Rams win. Does this get him? Is he on the doorstep of Canton? Does it get, I mean, his stats, he's got the stats. He's just played on a losing team. And now the first year with a winning team, you go to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl. I think he's got a chance. I think this is big for Sean McVay as well. You know, so much has been talked about the hire of Sean McVay and so much of his creativity and his genius. But he got outcoached in the Super Bowl. Until recently, he had been constantly outcoached by Kyle Shanahan. He'd been schemed out of – his offense had been schemed away a lot because of Jared Goff. So I think this is a huge game for Sean McVay because this gives him that opportunity to say, look, it was all Jared Goff's fault. The reason I don't already have 3 Super Bowls is because of Jared Goff. So I think this is huge for the legacy of Sean McVay and what he's building. And I think it's good. I think it's good for the Rams. I love that what they have done is working. I love that, like we've talked about, that you've got these 2 teams. One has said we're going to build through the draft, sign the free agents we can. And then Sean McVay in their front office has said, screw that. I'll draft what I need to, go out and get me the pieces to win, and I'll win with them. So I love that, and I want to see the Rams work. I want to see it work. I've loved what they've done. I've loved the pieces they brought in. I thought Von Miller was just an excellent addition to go get, and I just can't wait to watch this game. I really can't. I think it's going to be a really good Super Bowl. I'm going to enjoy watching the Rams smack the shit out of Joe Burrow.
It is an interesting legacy discussion. People have compared Matt Stafford to Phillip Rivers, even though Rivers had more success in the playoffs, even though I wouldn't say Rivers was successful in the playoffs.
Correct.
I don't think Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Fame quarterback. I know his numbers are gaudy, but he played in the you're not allowed to touch wide receivers era, and everybody's numbers are inflated for that, and so are Stafford's. So when you make those historical comparisons, you need to keep that in mind and understand that 4,000 passing yards 5 years ago isn't the same as 4,000 passing yards in 1997.
I agree.
All that said, winning a Super Bowl probably does put Matt Stafford on the fast track to Canton. You figure he'll have a couple of more years to go. He'll have at least a few more playoff wins, you would assume, with that LA team, even if they have some ups and downs dealing with the cap situation. They're going to make runs, and he's really good in that McVay offense. You would expect him to be better with more time in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know what they're going to do with Odell next year, but you'll have Robert Woods back. Van Jefferson is getting better. Tyler Higbee is emerging as a really good tight end. Cam Akers is emerging as a really good running back. They could be on a little couple-year mini dynasty run here.
I don't know. You look at what happens with Kansas City, and they've been to 4 AFC championship games. They got the 1 Super Bowl out of it, but we thought Kansas City was going to dominate the league, and to an extent they have, but they just got the 1 Super Bowl, and they're not going to win it this year. And you look at a team like Cincinnati, they did it through the draft, and it's got to make the NFL happy. It's got to give a lot of other teams a lot of faith that they can do the same thing, because if you just go out there and draft good players, you can make good things happen. And even with a coach that I'm not very high on. Oh Jesus! I keep forgetting his name because I don't think he's any good. Zach Taylor. Yeah, I don't see what Zach Taylor does to benefit that team and to help put Joe Burrow in a better situation. So
he doesn't.
If they can get some better offensive line help and if Joe Burrow wins the Super Bowl this year, man, that's pretty fucking impressive.
It is.
He was hurt
really
most of last year, and to come out this year and win the Super Bowl, we haven't really seen a quarterback in a position like this since Roethlisberger in his second season as well?
Yeah.
Or Marino in his rookie season when they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I think while it was a different situation because he was older, I believe Kurt Warner played in a Super Bowl in his second year as well.
Oh, the greatest show on turf after Trent Green got that horrible knee injury.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit different because he was a little bit older, but yeah, good point. Good point.
Yeah, it will.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was, like, I agree with you. Like, I'm going to hate it if it happens. I'm going to freaking hate it. I'm going to absolutely hate it, but it would be a hell of a run. It really would be, But like you said, and I do agree with you, momentum has seemed to be a thing that they've been able to use. I just don't know if there's going to be enough of it for this game.
Especially when they kept losing the momentum against Tennessee, but Ryan Tannehill kept giving it back.
Yeah.
And that defensive front for the Rams has the ability to just steal momentum back consistently because we don't trust the Cincinnati offensive line. But if they lose this game because they can't block and they just come out and sign one of the best tackles and then go draft 3 linemen with their first 3 picks and maybe sign another guy to add depth, this team's kind of scary moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I still think they have other pieces they've got to fix, and I think Zach Taylor holds them back too. Personally, it's just
and they're not going to be able to move off of him anytime soon after this season.
No, because there's nothing. Like I said earlier, there's nothing special about the Bengals offense schematically at all. At all. It's Joe Burrow does some stuff, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase do some stuff, and that's how their offense works. There's nothing. It's not like the Rams offense at all. So Zach Taylor has got to get better. I think their offense is going to have to evolve. I really believe that. But it might not matter. If they win the game, then just keep doing what you're doing, I guess. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think their offensive deficiencies are going to show up quickly in this football game. But I agree with you. They've got to get the offensive line right. But you still got to build a little bit more because we saw last year. Now, mind you, of course, they didn't have Jamar Chase, but we saw what happened to that team when Joe Burrow went down. There was no team.
Oh yeah, their season's over. But that's where we saw that with the Browns this year. Baker Mayfield got hurt, and their season was over. That's just what it is. When Peyton Manning got hurt. Ooh, excuse me.
Bless you.
When Peyton Manning got hurt in Indianapolis, their season was over. That's just what happens when your starting quarterback goes down. Even Sean Payton couldn't keep them completely afloat this season when Jameis Winston went down.
True. But yeah, so I think the Bengals, I think they're a few pieces away. I think defensively they have to improve in a couple spots. I think you have to be good all the time. You can't keep counting on momentum and fat guy interceptions to turn football games. I think
they are a lot of fun.
They are fun, but I think they've got to add some pieces all over the board to get better all the time, not just hopefully be able to turn around in the second half. But all that changes if Evan McPherson kicks a 55-yard field goal to win the Super Bowl, right? None of it matters if that happens.
Yeah. Well, that's probably where we'll wrap. One last question here, Jimmy. When you do your NFL draft research, are you going to be looking at the quarterbacks for the Cleveland Browns at 13?
No. Maybe later rounds, but certainly not rounds 1 or 2.
Yeah, I think it would be a mistake to not. They can get more value at other positions, and they need to add a playmaker at receiver, and you can do that with the 13th pick. You can just solve that problem.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So, do you have a couple minutes left to talk about something else going on in the NFL with a quarterback?
Sure.
So, we've talked about all year how Baker Mayfield took a lot of bullets for a lot of other quarterbacks. So much was talked about Baker doesn't have a new contract. A lot of people forgot Lamar Jackson doesn't have a new contract. Well, have you seen a little bit of nonsense going on with Kyler Murray?
Yeah, something happened with his social media, but I heard that apparently, after the initial reports, I looked and saw that he actually never followed the Arizona Cardinals team, and it seems like he's going through, I don't know, people do this, I guess, on Twitter where they'll go through and they'll just like basically purge their Twitter and start over. So I don't know if that's what's going on. He hasn't gotten his extension. I don't know. But I see Arizona's in the same situation as the Browns. Like, okay, if you're not going to move forward with Kyler Murray, what's your next step?
Well, but I mean, that's my question to you. Kyler, would you agree? Because I feel like Kyler is in the same situation as Baker. You're going to play through your 5th-year option.
Yeah, that's probably what they're going to wind up doing with him, because unless they're working on an extension with him now, and this is just, subterfuge that doesn't really have anything to do with anything.
Yeah, because I just don't see how the way the last 2 years have ended that you can pay Kyler the money you would have to pay a franchise quarterback right now.
I mean, I think that's probably not what conventional wisdom would say in the NFL world right now. I think everybody's ready to hand him over a big contract. They think he's done enough to prove it. Well, he has looked like an MVP at times, but he seems to get the Sam Bradford treatment, where people just ignore the fact that he can't finish seasons. That just seems to be what happens. They don't want to admit the fact that this guy can't stay on the field. Especially as the season moves on, he gets beat up and he's just not as good. Now, is some of that because Cliff Kingsbury isn't a very good coach? Could this be Kyler Murray trying to get Kingsbury out? I don't know. That seems like an awfully powerful play by a quarterback for the guy that brought him in and they completely changed their organization to bring Kyler Murray in.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. And like I said, it's just hard for me. It's hard for me to. I guess you're right. Because Kyler doesn't get the beatings from very many places other than no broken legs. But I just think it would be a huge mistake for them to give him that money right now. Yeah,
I think it's the running. I think people overlook some of his passing deficiencies because of what he adds in the running game. But what he adds in the running game hasn't won anything. So I don't know why we're anointing him to be anything. That's sort of like all the talk that Mac Jones gets for throwing checkdowns and screen passes. Like, congratulations. The last month of the season, he was terrible. Like, he was, hey, wow, you threw 3 touchdowns and no picks against Jacksonville. Congratulations. Nobody cares. You were embarrassed by Buffalo in the 2 games you were allowed to throw more than 5 passes.
Yeah, exactly.
And that interception he threw against Miami in that last game of the season was it was abysmal. And they were running the ball to try and get back into the game because they knew they couldn't trust him to do it.
Yep.
Sorry, I really don't like Mac Jones as a quarterback.
Oh, no, that's okay.
I wonder what he's going to look like with Josh McDaniels gone. What that offense looks like without McDaniels there, because I do think McDaniels is a good offensive coordinator. I don't know how they fill that spot and what that offense looks like with somebody else at the helm.
Yeah.
Because we know
it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's never in this, we've seen this in Cleveland enough. You can't just switch coaches on your quarterback year in and year out and expect to get good results. It's not a path to success.
Exactly.
All right, we'll call it a wrap there, Jimmy. Thanks for joining me, and it's going to be great to watch this game on Sunday night.
Oh, yeah, no place I'd rather be right now, and no place I'd rather be than on Sunday watching the Super Bowl with you, brother.
And we want to thank you for listening. Again, this was part 2 of a podcast. Check out the first part. It will be popping up here on the screen here in just a moment, and remember to like or subscribe. For Jimmy Champ, I am Evan Belfiore, and we are No Broken Legs.